No rest for the wicked as we're right back into the action here at the D2L Western Challenge. We're winding down our final play days. One today, one tomorrow, and then one following. Just one following the TI4 qualifiers. Of course, that's going to be quite a ways away. A couple weeks off as I'll be traveling to LA for all that. But still a lot on the line. This is what I love about our format. The drama continues now in our second series. We just saw Evil Geniuses guarantee themselves a #1 seed, looking ahead to postseason play, getting past Alliance 2-0. That means that when they go into the postseason bracket, they'll get a first-round bye. Pretty big deal. Now Cloud9, they sit technically in third position behind Na'Vi. A win here today will give them not just the ability to tie them up, but the ability to surpass them in overall points, meaning they'll have a 1-point advantage, or however many games won is what equals our points. So Cloud9, even when they lost, has managed to lose in a better fashion than Na'Vi. They'll move into second position with a 2-0 or 2-1 victory over Empire today and earn themselves a bye. If they don't, then Na'Vi takes that and Cloud9 will be on the outside looking in. Empire versus Cloud9 starting right now. I'm your host here in AC Chambers, joined once again by Trouf. And Trouf, man, we had a great series to get things underway. A little bit stompy in Game 3, if we're honest, but good lead up to this. Empire versus Cloud9. This is a matchup I've been looking forward to seeing for quite some time, just because, I mean, these teams, in a lot of ways, kind of mirror each other. They tend to get a lot out of their mid-position. Resolution, I think, is really one of the – it's been a breakout few months for him. People are really beginning to get on board with the idea of just how good he is, while Cloud9 typically having Sing Sing in mid, a huge playmaker in his own right. And both teams tend to play very high octane, tend to be willing to take a lot of risks, especially in the laning phase and as they begin to break that down and roam more. And I think we're in for a thrilling set of matches. But in all honesty, I think this could end up a stomp completely either way. Like if one team just gets a lead in game one, I think it could be 2-0 for that team very, very quickly.
One interesting thing to note right off the bat is Sing Sing actually isn't here for this game today.
Oh, wow.
Maybe he'll come back for game 2, or if there is a game 3 for that. But it's going to be Arise standing in, so just wanted to point that out because it does kind of dictate some differences in drafts.
I totally missed that. Didn't even see they were running a stand-in.
Yeah, captains tend to try to draft around that so that they pick something that their stand-in's comfortable with and whatnot. Interesting ban here coming out from Team Empire is the Zeus, as he was buffed in the recent patch, so they banned that out. But Empire and Cloud9, they did face off, I want to say, if not yesterday or the day before, but Team Empire looked pretty dang good, and if I must say, actually stomped Cloud9 in pretty nice fashion. So, but Team Empire, they've been kind of an up and down team, but actually, you know what? Cloud9 still has been too. Both of these teams have looked really, really good or looked not so good.
Right.
So this will be interesting in the D2L to see. As you mentioned, this is kind of an important game for Cloud9 in particular.
Yep, I want to see what Empire is going to put together with the Shadow Demon Dazzle. I love Shadow Demon Dazzle as a laning combination, especially in an aggressive lane. And when you see a Nature's Prophet picked up for Cloud9, could be jungle, could end up being the off lane, what have you. But it's just so easy to just destroy supports like Ancient Apparition if you're able to get the disruption off. It helps to have a Mirana, but we can see that's already been banned out by Cloud9. But honestly, anything with a guaranteed stun to follow the disruption and set up the Shadow Wave, you can just, obliterate someone if your movement, if your timing is correct, if you have not just the illusions from Shadow Demon that proc after the disruption, but if he runs up and gets close, and especially if you have someone that farms and can get close to do damage and then get all of that damage amplification via Shadow Wave, you can see a lane turn very, very quickly. While Cloud9 has there's going to be an axe. That's fun. And I have to give shout outs. I have to give shout outs to my buddy Pup, who actually, when we play 5-man, he has begged me for us to run this tri-lane, and we haven't yet. So shout outs to you, Pup. You called it, man. You're probably going to get to see it in a pro game if the Axe, Dazzle, and Shadow Demon are indeed all in the same lane.
I think they will be. If I recall, they did this against Cloud9 yesterday, or again, I don't remember if it was yesterday or the day before, but they ran an Axe, Dazzle, Shadow Demon. I believe those were the heroes. I know 2 of them were for sure, and they went aggressive. And they had Clink solo short, which is why the Clink's ban here is coming out from Cloud9. Also, the 2 other bans that I pointed out earlier were the Spectre and Zeus. They already have 2 members of a very, very strong global strat brewing here for Cloud9, being the Nature's Prophet and Ancient Apparition. So they don't want to have to deal with that kind of really strong global presence. coming out from Cloud9. It's still there with just 2 of those heroes. But yeah, this is kind of what Team Empire did. So I'm curious to see if they do this again with a different hero in the solo safe that just dominates a solo. I think that was like the whole idea of it, was you put so much pressure that they have to contest you, because if they don't, you're going to lose your tower in 2 minutes.
Right.
So they have to contest, which means you put up a 1v1 situation in your safe lane, and then you pick something that just dominates. And in the last case, it was Clinks, but that's banned out. So I'm wondering what's going to be. Maybe things that do really well against like a Nature's Prophet solo, like Gyro is pretty, or Gyrocopter is pretty good. There's a number of different options. I'm wondering if they're going to do more of the same here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a ton of stuff they can deal with a Nature's Prophet fairly well. The Bat Rider has been banned. That's one that notoriously is excellent. It just comes down to preference and how they want to end up taking their draft into the mid game. But we've been harping on Empires. Cloud9's is not bad at all. I love seeing a Prophet and a Puck on the same team. I love, as you said, the global presence and an ancient apparition plus a Nature's Prophet is going to give you. This is just a well-rounded front three. You've got push, you've got anti-push, you've got initiation, counter initiation, and now you grab a Rubik. And, the Rubik pick's kind of interesting to me. When you look at what Empire has, I mean, they're going to have spells to steal. But, it's not like there's a Magnus on the other side or an Enigma or a Bane or one of those big, turn a fight around ultimate steals that's going to be on the menu, at least right off the bat. I mean, I guess technically you get Weave, and that's always nice. But other than that, it's a little situational.
10 seconds
Yeah,
remaining.
I'm not sold on the Rubik pick. I don't know if it's going to be that effective here.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, the lift is good against Axe after he initiates if you're not already caught, but Rubik against Shadow Demon is kind of awkward because you can't really like follow up with the lift at any pristine time after Shadow Demon initiates, because the hero is already disrupted, and I don't know. I'm not sold on the Rubik pick. I liked Ancient Apparition, but again, the problem here with Cloud9 is that if Team Empire goes aggressive, which I think they will, Dragonite here for mid most likely for resolution. And I want to like go back and look and see what they did, because this is looking very similar. But anyway, I digress. They kind of forced them to fight them, because even if it's a Puck down there who's very elusive, I still don't think Puck will be successful in a 1v3 situation against Axe, Dazzle, Shadow Demon.
Right.
Because if he's forced to use his orb out, that means that so much damage that's going to happen on that tower that they're going to lose that tower in a matter of minutes. So I don't even think Puck can stand there. Nature's Prophet definitely can't solo against that. So I feel like the only option is to try to fight that. But that's why I come back to this Rubik pick. I don't think it's going to be a good fighter here. They could prove me wrong, but this last pick is really going to have to sell for me.
Yeah, I'm on board with you. I mean, like you said, the Rubik's an amazing support, and I mean, hell, depending on who you ask, Puppy. Last time I talked to him about it, which granted has been a long time ago. But just talking about, supports and how, his drafting style and such, he said point blank. And then granted, again, this has been 7-8 months ago. 7 or 8 years, way back in the day. But labeled Rubik as one of the best, if not the best, just all around support that'll fit into most situations and end up being a big influencing factor. But I like Empire's lineup a lot. The Dragon Knight rounds it out very, very well. He's kind of an anchor hero. And you can build, do what you want with him. You can build him survivable to play that kind of an anchor role where you're just relying on him to push, or you're relying on him to control team fights, and so on. Or you can try to play him as a pure carry, even if you do run him out of mid. And that tends to work very well as well. They're going to have so much magic damage coming out as well, just between Breathe Fire and Shadow Wave, if they're able to get what they want in the early fights with a disruption, then the Breathe Fire and the Shadow Wave to follow. And then Axe is certainly just a nice way to control early on. And Cloud9's going to grab themselves a Morphling. The Morphling pick, I mean, of course it's international time, so no surprise to see Morphling making a bit of a comeback. But I don't know. I worry. I worry that they are going to feel very, very thin if they fail to execute at all in the early game.
Okay, here's 2 things that Cloud9 can do. One is they just fight this tri-lane. This is assuming that Empire goes aggressive, which I think they will. Is one, they just fight this with 3 ranged heroes. I think like you want range against Axe. If you have any melee, they're pretty much useless in the lane, because Axe is just going to spin every time you try to get CS. So they have 3 melee. Morphling's not the best melee. That's why it's kind of weird and wonky to me. I think they could have done something a little bit had more range if that was their idea. Or they do something completely different, run dual lanes, and just try to survive in the bottom lane. Which, again, I don't know how you can survive against that, because they're just going to push your tower. So, and it's going to be a Leshrac. So, okay, we're going to have a kind of different solo. I wonder if Leshrac's even going to solo in the safe lane. Like, because it's Let's see, Vanscore's picking up Dazzle. It's going to be dependent on who's picking which hero.
Yep.
But Leshrac did get a minor buff with his the name
Yep,
fails.
gonna be silent.
Yeah, silent. So they might even do a solo axe. I don't know. Things are kind of interesting here.
I think they're gonna run what we thought: Dazzle, Shadow Demon, and Axe. I'm pretty sure it was Sing Sing just the other day in D2L play that we saw run a solo Leshrac, and it was 2-1-2, and they farmed him. Is what they did. They farmed him out of the safe lane, and it was super effective, very very effective. And yeah, I like it. I like the way this team fits together. They have great push. They have great, again, a great balance of damage now with the Leshrac and his mixed damage on top of Axe with physical and Dragon Knight. Of course, having AoE burst to begin, but then a nice build onto physical, especially if he wants to go something like a Shadow Blade. That gives you the even more burst that has to be accounted for. C9, I mean, like, I'm thinking about what you said, which I think is definitely an option. Go 2-on-2, try to survive, or, try to dodge as much as you can. But I don't even know that they have two heroes that are really okay with that. Like, what are you going to do? Put an Ancient Apparition and a Rubik down and just try to have them survive and soak XP? They'll die over and over and over and over and over again. You can't do that with Morphling and Nature's Prophet. They're way too farm dependent and really need a good start. And Puck, as elusive as he is, I guess he would be the best option. But then you're doing what? You're running, you're basically running a dodge tri-lane where you have an Ancient Apparition, a Rubik, and a Morphling all heading out into the off lane and just hoping they don't switch. And then something wonky like a Prophet in mid. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is a problematic draft for C9.
That's actually what I was almost thinking is like a Prophet mid. But and going back to the dual lane mid here, like the problem is against Empire's heroes, it doesn't really work because you can't dual lane with a Shadow Demon and the Shadow Priest on the same team because they just, if one of them rotates mid, you're never going to kill those heroes. Like they're just going to help each other out, and then it just becomes a very kind of stalemate, and then you're losing the other lanes. So you can't really dual lane mid. Maybe they can and just try to get whoever is in mid extra farm. Like if it's like a Morphling or something like that, they can guarantee him some last hits. But the problem I see in the long run here with the C9's draft, even if they make it past the hump of the laning phase, is if Furion doesn't get anything, I feel like they have no physical damage whatsoever. And if Empire gets BKBs on like Leshrac and DK, I don't know what damage output they're going to have. It's going to have to be the Morphling. But again, this is a hero that takes a long time to build up, as we saw in game 1 of EG versus Alliance. It takes him a long time. If he gets there, it's great, but it's going to take him some time. And with this laning phase being kind of iffy here for C9, I'm wondering if it'll get past that hump.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, especially lacking one already. And, Empire's a tough enough test whenever you're at full strength for anyone. And, it's especially tough whenever you're lacking a playmaker like Sing Sing. So do have a pause, and hopefully we'll be getting an explanation or a resume sometime in the near future. Want to remind everyone that earlier on we ran the video, and I'm sure we'll be doing it throughout the rest of this series, and of course towards the end, of the new Alliance Phantom Lancer set that has been debuted. We had the teaser trailer for it, and the proper debut will be coming up following the conclusion of play here today in the Western Challenge. You'll be able to check out Manny over at the live workshop. Manny, the architect of this unbelievably pretty, just really well done Phantom Lancer set. And he's going to be going through it live, talking about the creation process, talking about, and if I'm not mistaken, he's even going to be adding a little bit more polish to it and so on and so forth. And he's going to be doing that live on, again, live workshop. And we'll have more details about that. But I think it's a great service that he's been talking about with me for nigh on a year now that he's had in development to help train people one-on-one. Basically, you tune into live workshop. You can see him work on items. There are going to be lessons, tutorials, not just going to be him, going to be other talented folks that are on. And it should be just an unbelievable resource for those who are interested in getting an item creation or, hell, just have an artistic streak and want to explore other avenues. So, again, make sure you check that out. And I'll be tweeting links and talking about that towards the end of the series. We are underway. And the lanes moving out. Looks like we've got 4 and 4 all moving out right now. Very quickly, level 1 team fight advantage. Goes to Empire, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think that. See, well, I don't know. You have Ancient Apparition. If he gets a lot of auto attacks off with Chilling Touch on 4 members, it's kind of who executes the best.
Right.
So it's kind of a wish-wash.
The ability to just blow.
That was close. I feel like if he lifted SD, it could have. Well, he could have disrupted himself too. But like again, it's just positioning.
30 seconds.
And it looks like it will be a solo axe in the safe lane against the Furion. This is what I thought might happen because they picked 3 range heroes, and Axe is. He wants a melee hero because he wants someone to try to get in range to CS, but then he can just spin on top of them. So they picked 3 range heroes, and now Empire says we're just going to put Leshrac in there and have 3 ranged heroes with better combos up against you. So this is kind of an interesting lane down here. It should be fun. And then as far as top lane, yeah, Axe versus Furion. They pulled Axe, and he just got a ton of regen. So you can't really harass him out with the trees like you normally can in this matchup with Furion because he's just going to spin and kill them.
Yeah, I really like what C9 has put together down here. The puck with these two supports with Pili Die on the Rubik and AUI and the AA. I feel like this is actually going to, of any combination, this is really going to stand the best chance to complicate this, especially with the Axe not there. And we're going to see if that's going to end up being the wise decision. I feel like Axe is just a hero who, I don't know what you farm an Axe towards. Like generally, just starting at level 1, you want to get some use out of it. And we'll see how it's going to end up working out, but it will be a try down here in the bottom lanes. Solo top and solo mid for both sides. This is game 1 of our second best of 3 of the day. Next to last series of D2L Western Challenge play. And the lift on the silent, they bring it back. There's a defensive disruption. Always want to fly, getting into position. Van scores right there. He actually skilled Grave first. Didn't have Shadow Wave to begin with. And nope, not even going to have to use it. Was on the ready with it just in case. But C9 getting aggressive early and trying to punch Empire into a corner.
Well, you see how much damage the Chilling Touch does, man. It does so much damage. Just some auto attacks. This is going to be very aggressive. Another lift coming out.
Yep, no disruption that time. Had it on the ready, but knew it wasn't needed to be spent. And this is going to end up shoving this way up under the tower. And we'll see how aggressive they want to be, farming right in front of the enemy tower. Haven't even had really a chance to look at the other lanes. Kind of have to, as Mag's already got Bone 7 back behind the tier 1. In mid, saw Eternal Envy force Resolution back as well, as Arise, the stand-in, is running the puck here in this tri-lane. So should be action everywhere, and I expect to see Mag spending a lot of time behind that tower until it ends up dropping. So we'll be as frantic as we can to keep an eye on things.
Yeah, it would be really beneficial for C9 if one of those supports gets an early TP. Because if he does that again, and if he gets very, very low, it's an easy kill onto Mag. So, oh, Mag could get a kill here on the Bone 7. He's spinning. He's not spinning, actually.
Yep.
Only spinned once, and he ran away. I think he maybe could have just sat there right on top of him. Maybe if he gets lucky.
Would have died to the tower.
But, yeah, it was kind of iffy on both ways. TP back from Furion early on.
Oh, wow. And
he's not going to kill him.
Yep. Doesn't have a point into Sprout. But yeah, I think if he had sat there and tried to just spin off of the creeps, he would have died to the tower eventually. He might have gotten the spin that gets him the kill there against the Furion as he's TPing away. But I think he just wanted to stay alive. And
oh, you got to play manly if you're Axe, man.
Yep, here we go. There's disruption. Splitters on the way, and the Shadow Wave plus Lightning. First blood drawn by Always Want to Fly. His Illusion's getting the last hit for the kill. Phase shift, buying Arise some time, but he's being auto-attacked heavily. Silent on the mark. Hits the Split Earth. There's another phase shift. They still manage to get him. They may be able to get a return kill on the Silent. No! Grave is there as Vanscore keeps his buddy up and running. And not just up and running, auto-attacking. He actually hung around too long. Was going to say he didn't even turn around and run. He actually tried to get in some more auto-attack damage. And that bought enough time for the Rubik to get one last auto-attack that connected just as Shallow Grave expired. So a little bit of a waste there. Nonetheless, Empire setting the tone down here now. It's 2-1.
Yeah, nicely timed auto attack there. Just he knew exactly when the Grave was going to come out. So Paladai with a nice kill secured there. Unfortunately, Arise used the phase shift a little early, and that gave a tell to Empire that they could just try to go for any kill and they wouldn't be able to dodge it. And so a very, very nice stun coming out from Silent. But as you mentioned, he did kind of stick around a little bit too long. Action mid, I see some heroes on top of each other, but Axe, look at his CS. It's 20 and 2. It's kind of dominating up here.
You're Axe, man. You run forward and say, hit me, I dare you. And get a whole bunch of CS and scare the hell out of Furion. But C9 tucked up under their own tower now. And we can see Empire beginning to get down some aggressive wards. They actually just dropped a sentry. Actually, 2 sentries just to make sure that everything's clear there. But Empire in pretty good shape. And this is what they need to do. They need to keep the pressure up. Love what Silent's done. Not a single point into Edict. We saw Sing Sing do the same thing in a very similar situation. End up maxing Lightning. It's a very effective skill and oftentimes underrated, especially the way Leshrac tends to be played, but that might be changing.
Mag's going for a kill up top. He's getting body blocked by the trees. He can't quite get Bone 7. Oh, there's a difference of about 120 movement speed too, so nicely played by Bone 7. That was really, really good. That should have been a free kill if he maneuvered around those trees.
Mm-hmm. Easier said than done, especially when Bone 7, who is a sick offlaner, is controlling them. And we can see more damage done at bottom. Here comes Always Want to Fly. Oh, he got lifted in the middle of the oh, beautiful Split Earth. Defensive disruption is there. Vanscore has Grave at the ready if he needs it. That was really well done. And Always Want to Fly was almost able to get the disruption off to begin with. Bone 7 actually comes in and misses with the Sprout, so Empire able to make it away unmolested, while Mag doing very naughty things to that top tier 1 and bringing it down right at the 5-minute mark.
This is what happens when you leave an Axe. Whether it's offensively or if he's just by himself, he constantly cuts the creep wave, and it means you have extra creeps hitting that tower. And really, that's a safe lane tower too. Or sorry, your off lane tower too. So really good.
C9 doing what they can. Looks like Pili die. He's just going to buy stuff and suicide. Yep. Taking the short way back to the well. And Mag farming happily up under the tier 2. This is just a Rise now left down here. And Always Want to Fly. He's going to go for it. There's a disruption. Split Earth. Money. Arise could not be that far forward by himself. There is zero room for error. If you get disrupted against a Leshrac plus a Dazzle, you are not going to survive. I don't care if you're Puck or anyone else. It's just not going to happen when you're sitting at half health. Another kill goes the way of Empire in this bottom lane. Now getting out of control. Looks like C9 wants to try to turn it around with a kill on Axe in top lane.
Yep, there's a lot of members up here. 2 smoked up, but they're going towards the right. And then Mag is actually walking back. He pulls a lane to the side to give himself a little bit more space and room. And he's charging Bone 7. They're pinging him out, though. They might get the wraparound. And Mag could be in some trouble up here.
He's level 7. There's going to be the Sprout. Immediately eats his way through with the Tango. Telekinesis right back into the cold feed, and they will get the proc. Not that they needed it, as Eternal Envy was there to help clean things up. Very high priority kill for them, bringing him down, and Morphling got the kill as well. Problem is that freed up space for Resolution, and that's the thing. It's like, it's obviously not a win that you lose your Axe, but it's not as bad of a loss whenever it takes that much investment from C9 to make it happen, because you left some room in mid and let Resolution play catch up a little bit, and it certainly left his bottom lane to be used and abused. And we can actually see in terms of overall CS, the DK is kind of pounding on the Morphling as Resolution is taking it straight to Eternal Envy.
He really is. I haven't been watching the mid lane because there's been so much action in top and bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine that EE, when he morphs into full agility, that he wants those extra auto attacks, but you also take, the problem with that is if you're up against any kind of spammer, you really take a lot more damage than you should because your HP is so low. And I imagine that's what's happened. Again, I haven't watched it, but yeah, he's really taking a dump, as you said. 36 and 8 compared to 28 and 3.
Yep.
So, and then also with the rotation of Eternal Envy going up top, getting a good kill, but losing some CS as a result.
Yep, looks like we're ready to go. Ready to get back under waste as we get the okay from C9. If you're just tuning in, this is game 1 of Empire versus C9 at best of 3, that if C9 wins, we'll put them in 2nd overall seed and put them into the bye round of our playoff bracket coming up in a few weeks. And we can see, yep, Envy taking a lot of damage and being forced back. And things kind of in flux right now as everyone looks to reshape things. Certainly C9 does not want the status quo to continue. And we actually hear, yep, Eternal Envy, dragon-tailed, following a disruption from Always Want to Fly behind the tier 2, or behind the tier 1. AUI is going to show his face, but certainly not going to be much of a threat. 5-2 now, Empire getting kills, and not just getting kills, but getting them on good heroes to kill.
Yeah, again, I was watching some other places, but he had no mana right there. And he had no mana to waveform out. He had no mana to go to his replicate, which is actually pretty expensive. I think it's 150.
Mm-hmm.
And even if he did, I think there was like 3 seconds left on it. Could have been close, but needs to be more higher mana pool if he's up against this kind of aggression. And with the tower gone up top, Axe, he's going to have his Blink Dagger really soon. TPing bottom. Silent gets out.
Yep. Bone 7 is the bottom. Axe moving his way down, and looks like he's just going to go ahead. No, that was actually Vanscore. Never mind. So Mag ended up staying. But nonetheless, things really looking to be in Empire's favor for the moment. Bracer up for Resolution to go with his shreds. And it looks like C9's kind of scrambling right now. I see a lot of movement out of them, but I'm not seeing a whole lot being accomplished with it.
Yeah. Again, Axe, this Blink Dagger timing is going to be impeccable. I like his build right now, too. I see a lot of Axes sometimes where they just don't get any spells into Battle Hunger. And I see some Axes max Battle Hunger, but I think just 1 point, it's a 1-point wonder because you get the static 10% movement slow bonus and the speed bonus. So it's a 20% basically difference. And I think that's really important. Action on the Rise.
Yep,
oh,
in trouble.
Orb.
Dead. Oh, no, it was mistimed a little bit. If they time that just right, he's not able to do that. But Silent, And that was actually really heads up from Arise, as you said, casting the orb first. So well played there. But yeah, just a smidgen off on the stun, and Arise able to benefit from it here in mid. Resolution drawing the attention of two more. He's got this tower pushed down to about 1/5 health already, and at bottom they're going to go ahead and start pressuring the tier 1 there as well.
Yeah, Envy's still really low mana. He's using the bottle curve right now, but that's kind of a problem for him because he can't play aggressively. He can't CS effectively. And here we go, some possible fight here coming down bottom.
Thought we might see him try to coil, but instead decided to just play it safe and rely on Pile Die to keep the tower up if nothing else. Blink Dagger's now done for Axe, so his aggressive potential going to be going through the roof. And yep, Poison spots him. There's going to be a lift and dragging him back. They may be able to get him. Waning Rift and very nice defensive disruption. Nature's Wrath from Furion did a lot of that damage, but unable to capitalize on it as he stays alive. And Empire continuing to just play remarkably well. And I'm surprised Mag's still flat out farming, by the way. I would have thought he would have headed bottom. And Pile Die caught with a Split Earth. He's dead. Bone 7's there. Gets a Sprout off on the Silent. Vanscore hits the Poison Touch on the Bone 7, but Silent's going to be graved to keep him alive. Coil went off. AUI ends up dead. Arise could be next on the list. Silent still alive and still kicking. Now if they can just kill the damn treants as they finally get him back to safety. 9-2. And this one is beginning to slip away in a very real manner of speaking. And yeah, we're talking 7,500 gold in a 10-minute game. That's the lead they've built to this point, and they're just getting started.
And it's with the lineup. Like, this is what I talked about. The only backbone you have for C9 to win this is the Morphling. But this hero is just, I feel like he's not good at catching up, and it takes him so long to really catch online. Like, maybe if it was a safe lane Morph, but how do you, again, they specifically put him mid to try to dodge this, what they thought was going to be aggressive trialing with Axe. Well, it was actually with Leshrac and was even more effective because Axe is able to just completely zone out Furion up top and get this early of a blink. And yeah, they're banging on all cylinders here for Empire, and it's impressive to watch.
Just continuing to farm up. Looks like Resolution wants his BKB, and why wouldn't you? What the hell do you do to a BKB Dragon Knight with the lineup you have, given the starts you've had? Like, you just have no damage to speak of. And Mag now making his way through. This could get nasty. If he's able to get a two-man call with a Split Earth to follow, I really don't even know what you do. Push potential is going to be there. 1 point in the Edict, all he really needs, and they're going to be able to catch Envy. There's the call. And a decent lift. That'll buy him enough time to wait for him and re-engage. Nice coil to come back in. Mag went for it and got punished for it. Silent going to be sprouted in. Split Earth caught 3, but no follow-up. There's the grave, and Silent's a one-man wrecking crew. Vanscore there to grave him, keep him alive, and keep him fighting as he gets a double kill. And even though C9 is able to force them back, it cost them a little bit more than I think they really wanted to give up there, given how good the counter initiation was. Just excellent support play.
Really nice stun there by Silent. I think it hit 3 people.
It did. Got 3.
And then Vanscore's just been on point with the graves and the heals at all times. I actually think Mag kind of jumped the gun. I think he went too early, and I don't think he should have gone for Morph. I think he should have waited for other supports to be like, oh crap, they're going on Morph, and generally they start to clump up and go. That's when you go on the people in the background, because those are the people that are trying to save the hero. So the hero that you go on is going to get saved. Why not kill the people that are going to save him? So I think if anything, if he wants to go on the Morph, I think he needed to wait a little bit longer or just go on the people in the backfield. So, but nonetheless, Silent able to kind of rectify that problem and just still make Empire come out on top there.
Yep, there's going to be a smoke. They're going to rotate top, and another smoke from C9 as they catch Resolution. Resolution's actually switched to a Shadow Blade build. It's taken him a while to bring him down, and he's just going to come and re-engage as he knows he's got help on the way. Split Earth on the mark, and the follow-up with the magic damage. Disruption is there to help his buddy out. AA Ultimate does connect, but Resolution's still alive. Always want to fly, caught with the grave. Bone 7 going to end up getting at least 1 kill, and as AUI shows his face now, Vanscore unable to grave himself. Still on cooldown. Mag a little late pulling the trigger, but should be able to kill at least 1. Might be able to dunk 2. And Split Earth dodged by AUI still. He's down, and Envy has to bail out. Another less. Oh, no, hang on. They're not done. He's got enough mana. Nope, not going to have enough damage, though. Since they had enough mana for the Culling Blade. But Silent, Split Earth on the mark. Mag's right there. He ends up dying to a Fade Bolt when he lands, and this is really greedy. And, oh, he stole it and dunked on his face. So Rubik Giving old Mag a taste of his own medicine, turns it around, and to be honest, the entire last half of that was unnecessary. That was just pure greed that blew up in Empire's face.
Completely full greed. They did not need to do that. Really well played by Pilot. I'm pretty sure he TP'd and shift clicked his Fade Bolt because that was
had
instant.
to have.
Because there was going to be a nice time of the Split Earth there from Leshrac. It was completely instant. Regen here up top, and it gets no, it does get bottled. I thought it was going to get denied. I actually like the Shadow Blade pickup here from Resolution. I think it's pretty good here for being able to pick heroes off.
Yeah.
But before that unnecessary 2 deaths that happened from Empire, you just see how useless Morphling is in these fights until he gets items. Like, he's literally farming half a screen away from when the fight is going on because he can't go in.
Yep.
He's just farming creeps to the left because he's just kind of useless in team fights at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I don't mind Shadow Blade on DK. It's fine. I mean, it's a good item in general. It's good on him. I just think a BKB is a better investment right now. You get a BKB up again, what are they going to do to you, man? Like, Bone 7, he's got his minus in his face, so okay. But it's a nature's prophet. Even under the best of circumstances, he's going to be hitting like a limp noodle at this stage of the game. And Morphling's in the same boat. And he's not in the best of shape. Like, if you go BKB, especially that first time around, you can take a big win and not just take a tier 2, but probably take racks if you can keep yourself up. So I guess just playing much more the pickoff game. Resolution going to roll in and try to do a little bit of damage. But Turtle Envy is farming better. He's still quite a bit behind Mag and Resolution. Pick on Mag here in mid. He's lifted. Let's see if they've got the firepower, and they do. Sprouts there, and again, unnecessary, and Pile die once again. Again, a taste of his own medicine, dunking on his face a smidge.
Yeah, I don't know what Mag is doing. Like, these are totally unnecessary deaths, and he had such a good start, and while they're still up, I'm pretty sure, actually, they're starting to close the gap in experience in gold as well. Could see a possible engagement, but he needs to stop dying, quite simply. Like, just needs to stop dying like that.
Yep, I very much agree. C9 wise to pull back. C9 is lacking all 3 of their tier 1s now, while not a single tower is dropped for Empires. So, you know, don't get us wrong. At best, C9 has stopped the bleeding. They have not yet quite begun to clot, but the experience is getting a little bit closer. But Empire is still very much at a favorable advantage. He did it. He calling bladed a creep. Well played.
Who, the Rubik did?
Yes, I got up here and just saw a big blood stain and saw a creep lying in a heap next to it.
There you go.
Sometimes it just feels good, man. Do what feels good. Empire should get this Roach for free. Doesn't look like they know, or if they do, they don't care.
I wonder if Pilot is going to TP out right after this last creeper. Maybe he knows that they're roaching. He's going to step here greedily. Oh no, he's going to die. He's going to die here to Axe, most likely. Yep.
No mana. And Mag.
Axe gets no spins. If he gets... Oh, I thought he could have maybe just TP'd out, but...
Up, gets the lift. And here's an AA ultimate going into the pit. They end up getting the Aegis. Resolution picks it up. Up at top, looks like Mag did finish the deal. And now Always Want to Fly had eyes on Bone 7 and able to catch him in time for the disruption. And Axe does manage to finish the job on that tower, too.
I thought if maybe he got super lucky if he just TPs right after the call and doesn't get any spins, he might have gets out, could maybe get out there, but that's asking for a lot of RNGesus. But nonetheless, Empire, they strike back.
LOL.
I didn't even mean to do that.
No, I'm talking about...
Oh, God.
No, I was actually... That was well-timed because you said something quite hilarious, might I add. Well played. And basically, Resolution just walked up to Envy, who was almost fully morphed, with Shadow Blade. And just basically just LOL dunked on his face and brought him down to near death. And then Morph was able to get away afterwards. So, nonetheless, we're at 18 minutes in with 25 kills on the board. Been a very active game. Things are settled down for the moment. Empire looking like they want to change that. They're moving down mid lane as a force. And Mag, he's too busy being cool as his Blade Mail up and doing his own thing in mid.
Yep, Blade Mail, really, really good item for him. I like to see it when there's more HP up onto him. He might get caught here again. Triple Man smoke, blink up from Arise. No, the blink.
What a player.
Was that even intentional? Or was he just trying to blink down there to just get closer to his team?
I don't know.
I don't think that was intentional.
About as close as it could have been.
Yeah, because he didn't have vision of them. They were smoked up. Wow.
Here we go. What did he steal? Did he get... Nope, he got Breathe Fire. Resolution eating a lot of damage here. Don't you wish you had that BKB now? Shadow Blade, though, helps out in other ways. Edict, along with the level 2 Elder Dragon form, just making cinders of this tower.
Are fortified.
2-3 should end up dropping. They'll end up trading away a tier 2, most likely for it, as Bone 7's doing his own thing, but they may lose Rax if they don't get him back down here. AA ultimate shot from the shoelaces. As this is going to come in with a big AoE, and they're going to try to initiate off of it. Actually, no. There it comes. And now C9 looking to turn this around, and I think that was a glitch. That or I just missed something entirely.
No, AUI, you know better than that. You can't use your ultimate from far away and then TP. Oh, hold that thought as another easy kill onto Eternal Envy. Arise is forced to back up. Easy peasy Rax here, and C9 has no point in fighting this. This is just Rax dead. Look to split push as they do mid.
Yep. Here we go. Empire finishing the job, and I realized what happened. I thought he
TP'd back after he casted it. You can't do that.
Had he let the projectile go, I always want to fly. He's going to end up dead. We'll talk about it in a minute. Resolution being pursued out. They get the Rax. They're going to end up losing 2 for it, though. Actually going to end up losing 1 plus an Aegis. Bone 7's there to help zone out the remainder. Are they going to YOLO it? Nope. Resolution, you're on your own, brother. Actually, Mag, he's Axe. Moving in, Resolution, doing good damage. And they do it. Manage to get the Fury on. Vanscore still there. Gets the grave off on himself and another dunk out of Mag. As Vanscore TP's away, laughing all the way to the fountain. And Mag able to make it back as well. But I thought AUI had, the Tracer was out. I thought he shot the projectile, then TP'd. And so I'm going to guess, because I didn't see it, I'm going to guess the Tracer was on the way, but he TP'd.
He did. I'm pretty sure it still acts that way. Even if you cast it and then TP back, it'll go from where your hero is. So, yeah, because it was coming from top lane, and then it TP'd back.
Yep.
I saw it too, so yeah.
Weird.
But really nicely played by Vanscore. Like, he saw 4 creeps right on top of Furion, used that shadow wave, and did so much damage. And it was good played by Bone 7, actually. He was keeping the auto attacks on Axe so he couldn't jump back in, but couldn't do it long enough, and Axe still bided enough time to get the blink back in. So nicely played from both sides. But Axe is just, he's becoming a humongous problem here for C9, as he was since the very beginning of the game.
It's 11-20, and Empire in the driver's seat as the bottom set of Racks is missing, and C9 just looks to buy time, extend this game, and try like hell to farm. They've got to get Morphling and Prophet in shape. They picked up an Orchid on the Prophet, which I think is an interesting decision. Obviously, being able to use it on a support is excellent, but who do you think the #1 target for that Orchid would end up being?
Sorry, who has it? The Furion?
Yep, Furion.
It's kind of crabby because it has to be one of the support players.
Right.
It's got to be either SD or the Shadow Demon, or sorry, or the Shadow Priest.
Yep.
Disruption offensively, it'll be fine. But,
Yep.
But the problem with this combo, and this is a brilliant combo. Oh, hold that thought. Mag wants to jump in.
Got him. Gets Envy. Blade mails up, and that's going to be a dead Eternal Envy. Maybe. Nope. Couldn't morph out. Beautiful grave out of Vanscore. And trying to reinitiate out of it. Silent. Doing what damage he can as he pulls back. Just heard the Orchid go off as he finished it. But C9 ends up going 1-for-1, trading Eternal Envy for the Axe. That's a trade Empire will take any time. And now they're going to reinitiate Silent. I have no idea what he was thinking. Walking in very sketchy territory. There's going to be a Poison Touch dodged by Arise. Not going to be able to dodge the Demonic Purge, though, and ends up dying behind it as Resolution showed up in time to help clean up. Tier 2 tower down to about 3/4 health. Looks like Empire's ready to push now.
Yeah, this is just a brilliant combo of SD plus the Dazzle. So you go on one of them, the other one will save the other one, and vice versa. It's very, very strong. And you'll see in Liam's where Batrider, he's up against, like in this instance, like an overfarm DK. And you're like, God, this DK, we got to kill him. But we can't kill him because SD going to save him. All right, I'll go for the SD. Well, now even if you go for SD, Dazzle's going to save him. If you go on Dazzle, SD will disrupt him. So it's a very, very brilliant combo, and it's one that we've seen a lot more in the last couple of weeks.
Empire should be able to take the Tier 3 without a problem. Let's see if they want to stay for the Racks. They're thinking about it and thinking better of it, it would seem. Resolution actually fake back there, and the wards go down, and now Pylai die, blown to pieces. Splitter Rift's there. Envy goes in, YOLOing it, and has to replicate out as he had no follow-up. There's going to be the waning rift and the jump out. AA Ultimate's going to be on the mark. BKB'd by Resolution. Vanscore was caught by, but it doesn't matter. AUI is down. And Silent now on a double kill. 12-24. This is probably GG territory. Don't know what they're going to do to be able to bounce back from 2 racks down against this team when you need that much farm on a Furion and a Morphling.
I'm just not convinced with the Morphling pick.
Yep.
Really, honestly, as soon as Empire started off the draft, like, they knew exactly what they wanted to do. Oh, there's another easy dunk on the puck. And Arise just hasn't been able to get anything done. It's not his fault. They just had a ridiculously strong lane against them, and I don't think they drafted correctly against this.
Yep.
Empire knew exactly what they wanted to do. They did this yesterday against Cloud9 even, and it seems that Cloud9 are just kind of in a slump as what to do against it. They banned out the Clinks. That wasn't enough. They had Axe instead. So they got to figure out something against this kind of lineup, because if Empire just keeps doing this, they're going to be 100% win rate against this.
Yep, I agree. And was a sick courier snipe right here, by the way. It took place. Bone 7 TP'd in, spotted it, used his sprout to right there. So well played there. Not sure what it had on it. Not sure that it matters, if I'm entirely honest. Roshan should be coming up sometime in the relatively near future. Have to wait and see just exactly how long. Axe has finished his Scepter now. And as you said, I think so accurately, he's becoming a problem. It's a bit of an issue. And that's one of many for C9 as they trail this game mightily down to 12,000 gold in the hole. 500 gold per minute lead generated so far for Empire through the first 25 minutes.
I want to see some Axe sniping some couriers. Just dunking them from full HP. Fun to watch.
Empire, 8 ultimate. Nobody cares. It's going to take the last remaining outer to a tower. And C9's in trouble. Looking very likely they're going to fall in the hole. 0-1 in this series. And with it, potentially losing their opportunity to fight their way as a top seed. They're going to make catch Bone 7. Silent was actually orchided. And Mag there with the call. Sorry, Bone 7. See you back at the fountain, brother.
Oh, and that coiling blade is just the most satisfying feeling ever.
Oh, okay. Here's a little chopping it up, talking a little gaming. What's more satisfying, dunking on a kid with Culling Blade, or Lion's Finger of Death and just blowing up a squishy support with that awful ripping sound it makes?
The Culling Blade.
You think so?
Yeah. Unless the Lion has an Axe and kills 4 people with it.
I don't know, man. There's something so fun about, like being up against a Nyx assassin, and he's been a pain in your ass the entire game, and he's got like a quarter health, and he carapaces out of what would be another projectile that kills him. Then you're a Lion, and you blink and just blow him up by pointing a finger in his face and watching him explode. There's something so satisfying about that.
But then when you have the Ags on Axe and you go dunk.
Point taken.
I mean, it can't get much better than that. That is just like that's the premium spot.
The good stuff. It's the good stuff. Roche still down for about another minute, but he'll be back up shortly. And C9 just trying to get their way back into contention now. Net worth-wise, 4 of the top 5 all belong to Empire, and they're just waiting out of Roshan. And Turtle Envy, he's a little hungry. He has not been fed in a while, as he is sitting currently below the Shadow Demon. Let me say that again, below the Shadow Demon. And overall net worth. Tough game for Envy.
I don't know. Like, I believe they last picked Morph too.
Yep.
And I thought, no, wait. I believe it was. God, I can't remember if it was last pick or not. Maybe you remember it was. It went
Furion, Puck, Rubik. I remember that. Then I want to say I want to say it was.
It was Furion AA. It was Furion AA right off the bat.
Yep, that's it. Yeah. Yep. So then Puck, I don't know. Whatever. They picked it late.
I think. Yeah. Anyway, regardless whether they picked it mid to late, I just think that it was kind of an incorrect pick. I don't know. This is just me. Maybe my bias against Morphling. I'm just not that convinced that Morphling's that great of a hero. Like I think it takes him way too long to come online. I think maybe in a safe lane where you can secure farm. Like Empire runs him a lot as a 1, and Silent plays him. And he goes phase boots and that quirky phase boots build, but it always works for him, and it's because he gets guaranteed farm. And that's the problem with the Morphling. It takes him so long to come online. But when you run him mid, if you have any kind of aggression or early kills, it just takes him way too long, and like we see him, he's useless in team fights. Until he gets big core items like an F-Blade. Even Lincoln's just like not quite enough to actually fight in team fights. He needs more than that.
Taking him a while to do Roshan. That's going to buy enough time for an AA ultimate to connect. That's going to catch a bunch with a Nature's Wrath there to help. Pipe's going to be used to help mitigate some of the damage. And finally, they're going to be able to bring it down. It's a shame that C9 didn't react in mass. I feel like they could have had a chance there off of a good AA ultimate or something like that. But as it stands, the A just picked up by the DK. Pretty sure. Yep. The Resolution grabs it. And imagine they'll be looking to close this out and push down top soon.
Yeah, and also, Bone 7's items are kind of interesting too. He's like all out. Well, I can't fight them at all. We will lose every fight, so I'm all out split push with the Maelstrom.
Yep.
And I don't blame him. But for that sense, it's almost wondering like, why did you go Orchids if that was your idea? Like, maybe just Necrobook if that was your thinking. Maybe by the time he was thinking, oh, we can fight them if I just Orchid so and so. But then it got to a point where, well, that's not going to work anymore, so I'm going to have to go for split push.
And they're moving back up to try and cope with the split push now. Bone 7. TP 5 seconds on cooldown. And they may know where they suspect where they went. Yep. Puck shoots the orb. They know where he is. Phase shifts, blinks away. And Pile Die blinks away as well. So at the very least, effective at opening the map up and delaying the game some as the farmers get what they need. Farm.
Yep. AC yourself is coming out on a resolution.
You know it, baby.
And that's good for him. I mean, he's like unkillable at this point. And I was going to mention even, he doesn't even have to go for VKB if he doesn't really want to, because he's got supports that can save him. Like if they target him, it's almost better for Empire, because then they're wasting all their spells and focus on a hero that's just never going to die in the first place. So, but BKB just makes things a whole hell of a lot easier.
Empire looks like they're a little tired of waiting, as you said. Resolution rather large and in charge, and given it's naked in mid and bottom, even if they do see split push here, they may just decide the hell
courier
with it.
snipe. They see it, they want it,
and they'll get it. That's an empty courier, but courier sniped for the second time in about the last 10 minutes. That's a pain in the ass. Managing to get the bottom tower. Rest of them hanging around mid. Yep, they're just going to go everything. Use the weave, and they got to get back to the house very quickly. Pipe used as well. Glyph was used. And Rubik actually managed to get Elder Dragon for him, so there should be a little baby dragon running around here sometime soon. Here we go. They're going to try to engage Envy with this Lincolns. Buys, oh, beautiful Split Earth, and the burst damage is there. They're able to bring it down. AA Ultimate connects behind the fight. Silent was already BKB'd. Buyback on Envy. And there's Pile Die. A little tiny dragon disruption is there. Silent got caught with the cold feed proc resolution. Has to pull back. Mech used by Always Wanna Fly. He does still have the Aegis, so just waiting on Ice Blast to expire. And it does. Now they're going to rush back up. There's another weave. It was off cooldown. Aegis used. Mag is there. Has the Blade Mail used. He should end up dead, but Envy caught out. And can they? Yes, they can bring him down. Bone 7 next on the list. Dragon Tail secures that kill and the last set of racks on their way out. One would only imagine. Another buyback on Bone, but with Envy down. Ice Blast going to kill Silent. That's a nice kill at the very, very least. I don't think they have anything left in the tank, though. Resolution yet is going to run up and blow up. AUI GG is called. Game 1 goes to Team Empire, and Cloud9 up against it. They're guaranteed a spot in postseason play here in the Western Challenge, but if they want to avoid playing in the first round to get one of those top 2 seeds and one of those buys, they got to win 2 in a row now against Empire, who is looking as solid as you've ever seen them.
Yeah, I just don't know about the Morphling mid. Like, again, to go back to that. As you mentioned, I think it was mostly just Empire. They came in, they had the same idea that they did yesterday, and it's such a good strat because it frees up whatever hero you want top lane. They didn't even run Axe, but just the threat of the aggressive tri-lane makes C9 draft and kind of lane themselves accordingly. But even then, it still didn't work. They had such a much stronger lane with Dazzle. Like, Dazzle SD is so strong for the reasons I outlined earlier. If you go on one, the other one saves the other, and vice versa. It's so strong. And again, the Morphling mid, I'm not sold. I just don't think it's good. I think that hero just needs way more time to actually be useful, and you can't do that as a 2 position in the mid. I think he needs the free farm. But even if he did go to the bottom lane as a 1 position, I still think the same thing happens. Like, he doesn't get enough farm, they lose the lane, and then they have a problem in the mid to late game with Furion being under-leveled and under-farmed. So, very nice draft from Empire, and even better execution.
Get dunked, RTZ. Trouth dropping the knowledge. Doesn't like the Morphling.
Well, even those games that he played,
yeah.
I don't think that it was like the one game I believe they lost with him, and then the first game where they actually won, it wasn't really him coming back. It was like he had a nice score and all, but it was mainly the Batrider that game and other initiations. I think he could have had many different heroes, but there you go. That's my 2 cents.
Make sure you follow him on Twitter so you can flame him. No, I'm kidding. Don't flame him. I agree. Morphling does have his problems, and we certainly saw it in action there. Eternal Envy, unable to ever get anything into gear. 1-5-8, a finish for him that he will likely want to forget. Really I mean, you look across the board, just kind of tough all around. 9-1, great game. When you see a 9-1 Shadow Demon, you know it's a good game. He had a scepter by the end, BT dubs. Thought that was worth mentioning.
Dear Lord.
Yep, Silent on the Leshrac, the farming Leshrac, and I hope we see more of that. I remember when I first started casting Dota, mid Leshrac was a fairly popular thing, and this is going back to way back when. This is going back to like 2012, like January and on into spring of 2012, where you would see that fairly frequently. But yeah, I love a Leshrac, and he's making a comeback. 6.81 is turning out to be quite fun. 30-13, final kill score, 31 minutes, 47 seconds. The official game time. Looking ahead to game 2, C9 going to try to get things back on track. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. Thanks so much for being a part of the broadcast, guys. Next game could potentially be our last of the day. And I'm pretty sure, as I understand it, we'll be showing a video once again showing the trailer for the newly released, or soon to be released, I should say, Alliance set going into the game sometime in the very near future. And following this, make sure you follow me on Twitter for 2 reasons. One, I'm a pretty cool dude to follow on Twitter, in my own humble opinion. It's at AC, at AYESEE. But I'll also be tweeting a link to the live workshop, which is a project by Manny. Great guy. My best friends here in the Bay Area. And got to know him at the International 3. If you ever stop by the live workshop section of TI3 and saw all those amazing talented artists, you probably met him. And he's been working on the live workshop for a while. It's basically a teaching tool, an educational tool that he's been spearheading. You know, he's going to be going through his set, showing it off, and if I'm not mistaken, even continuing to touch it up a little bit. And the whole idea of the live workshop, once it gets fully up and operational, is going to be for people like you, if you're into graphic design or you want to learn how to get into that, to come and watch these professionals while they work. I'm pretty sure tutorials are going to be incorporated and all. I'm sure he'll sell it much better than I can. But yeah, I'll be tweeting a link to that as he'll be showing off the PL set in that form coming up following the conclusion of play today in the Western Challenge. Again, stick with us. I'm your host, Aaron AC Chambers. Tralf as well can be found on Twitter. He's a pretty cool dude to follow too, at TRALFDOTA, at Tralf Dota. We'll be right back. Game number 2 coming up.